And welcome back to the Movies and Stuff show. We're going to be counting down our top 10 favorite spaceships and science fiction movies and TV shows. This is all part of our sci-fi month here on this channel, so make sure to check out our other sci-fi vids. I'm sure there's going to be like little pop-ups and links somewhere in this video that you can click on to check it out.
It's going to be right over the part. This is Dan.
Yeah, just over this face.
Right there. That's where I'm going to put it. That's where I'm going to put it. Yeah.
It's the best place to put the pop-ups and warnings.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, the warnings. Yes, exactly.
I think that there's fewer things that kind of go hand in hand than sci-fi and spaceships. I mean, it's become such an iconic and recognized feature of the genre. And, when you think of sci-fi, I think one of the things you think of is spaceships. So I'm going to start off with my number 5, and that happens to be the X-Wing from Star Wars. You can see it like right. I can't even. It's here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the webcam screw you up
right there. Yeah, it does. It's right there, and it really is a sexy spaceship.
Oh yeah,
it really. And the Millennium Falcon is kind of like the most iconic from Star Wars. And there's so many great ships in Star Wars. It really is just design-wise. Like, there's the Star Destroyer. It's badass. TIE Fighters, really cool. But the X-Wing really does it for me. There's speed, there's power, and it's just like the design is just pure badass. It seems like something that Rebels would be flying,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it does have some power to it. That's what I really appreciate about it. It's got a lot more personality than almost every other ship, except one in Star Wars.
I guess maybe we'll find out the one that you're talking about a little bit later.
Yeah, absolutely. But man, that scene in A New Hope, Episode 4, whatever, when they're approaching the Death Star and their S-falls all expand to attack position, that's just some cool stuff. Those things are awesome.
Yeah, it just really is such a great design, and just from an aerodynamic standpoint, it looks like not to say it looks like it's realistic. It looks like in that future that it would be capable of doing what special effects make it capable of doing on screen.
Yes, right.
Very cool.
It's got some muscle to it. I like it with the 4 engines. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, my number 5 is the Lex from Lex. Are you familiar with this one at all?
No, I'm not. I'm looking at it. It's a really cool design. It's almost like bug-like.
Yeah, it's a dragonfly without its wings.
Yeah.
But I'll be the first to admit it. If you watch the show, Lex gets too fucking weird. It's just too much. But before it got too weird, it was actually pretty watchable, and strangely so. I mean, this ship is actually an organic ship. It's alive. It has some level of brain function to it. And Lex was designed to destroy planets. And it can, with one shot, destroy planets. And if you don't let Lex destroy planets, it gets in a bad mood.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, it decides on its own.
No. You have to direct it. Think of it as a dog, like, I guess would be the best way to put it. You tell it what to do and it does it. But dogs will still get in a bad mood if you don't let it do what it wants to do. It'll still obey. But yeah, I mean, it's a totally alive ship with a brain and everything. It's really neat.
That's pretty fantastic. Yeah, I'm definitely not familiar with it. What channel was it on? Like,
man, I saw it on like Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Was it like a Sci-Fi exclusive show, or was it just
no?
Like...
It was some, and this will explain its strangeness. It was a European created show.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So of course it's a little out there.
All right.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. I dig it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Let's go to my number 4, which would be the Nostromo.
Ooh.
From Alien.
That is a good looking ship.
I just love the industrial feel of this ship. Mm-hmm. And it's claustrophobic in nature on the inside, and it really just adds to the horror elements of the film. It allows a more kind of tight approach, and you feel like you're like in a haunted house. That's how I imagine it. It really does feel like just something that you don't want to be trapped with a giant alien in. But from the outside, it's cathedral. It kind of looks like an old kind of city of its own, like the way that it's.
I think of it as, you're right, it does look like a city, and I almost thought of it as kind of like an oil rig almost. I mean, it's got that
Yeah, yeah.
industrial factory feel about it.
I love that about it, and the ship, of course, is named after Joseph Conrad Naval. It's his novel Nostromo, but it was almost called Snark, which would be funny, and was almost called Leviathan, which would have been a cool
Yeah,
name as well. But it definitely, man, that's a cool picture you chose too. I think that really kind of encompasses like the full scope of this ship.
absolutely, absolutely. And I love it too. I feel like Cameron was always kind of working around with that idea too. Not Cameron. This was Scott.
No, that was Ridley.
Yeah, I was thinking aliens. Yeah, duh.
Yeah, I know that was Ridley.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, and Ridley actually ended up using some of the
For Blade Runner.
similar
Yeah.
designs for Blade Runner. Yeah.
Yeah. Who else worked on Blade Runner? We'll find out next week, huh?
Yes.
My number 4 pick, Slave One, man. That's the ship in Star Wars, Dan. I'm sorry, man. That's the ship. It is just so cool how it starts horizontal, it takes off and turns into a vertical ship.
Yeah.
I know this is totally, I'm picking form over function here,
Right.
but it's just so neat the way it's laid out.
It is. It is, and it's kind of a shame that it's for such a worthless character.
Yeah, he's kind of a throwaway. Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah.
Like in the scheme of things, he speaks like what 5 words, and he goes out like such a bitch.
Yeah, he does. He does.
But he's got a cool ship.
He does got a really
That
cool
is a
ship.
really cool ship, and I agree with you. It's just they utilized it more in Attack of the Clones, right? The how it flew around.
Right.
Man, can I just crap on Attack of the Clones real quick?
Go for it.
It is the worst of all of them. Like say what you will about Phantom Menace, I feel that it has some redeeming qualities to it. I really do think that Phantom Menace has some redeeming qualities. Attack of the Clones is such a garbage plot. And it's like, wait a minute. So you're hiring a bounty hunter to hire a robot to hire another robot or something like that to kill this guy when you could have just shot him right here. And then we're just going to fly around and throw some bombs to try to blow up his ship. It was just like, and then Yoda becomes a ninja.
That was probably a low point in the prequels.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. And I think I've explained to you like how I think the prequels couldn't have been saved, but
Right.
I think it would have been great to not even introduce Count Dooku, not kill Darth Maul in the first one. Let him be the bad guy throughout the series.
Oh, yeah.
Let him almost be the downfall of Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan wants revenge for Qui-Gon's death. Yeah. Have it be Anakin the one that kills Darth Maul. Have there be a rift starting between Anakin and Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan wanted it. Have Anakin basically tell him, if you would have done it out of revenge, then you technically would have went to the dark side. So I saved you from it. Think about that.
Yeah, that's good.
And Christian Haydenson should not have been in it.
Here's how I saved the prequel trilogy. Lucas, put down the pencil. Hire somebody else.
Yeah, just that. Honestly, I think Jake Lloyd did a better job than Christian Haydenson.
Man,
that's my feeling. The better Anakin. The better Anakin was the pasty white dude that took off his helmet and briefly saw his noggin.
Now go, my son. Yes. Yeah, I agree.
How depressing was it when the helmet came off and it wasn't James Earl Jones? I wanted to see them explain that one. Honestly.
Oh, man.
Maybe a little bit too progressive for the 70s. I don't know. Anyway, I guess we'll go to my number 3.
There you go.
That is the TARDIS from Doctor Who. Do you know what TARDIS stands for?
Actually, I have no idea what TARDIS stands for.
Time and relative dimension in space.
Oh.
TARDIS. On a technicality, I'm including this because it's not really a spaceship. It's more of a time travel device.
Oh.
But, again, relatively speaking, note the pun there, I think they're kind of intermixed because it does travel through time and space, and it's pretty great. It's a cool design.
Yeah, it is.
It's unsuspecting. It's much bigger on the inside. That's the joke of it. And I like that it changes styles based off the Doctor who owns it. So the inside is always different. And I'm not a huge Doctor Who fan, and that's
No.
to say that I haven't watched a lot of the show. What I have seen, I really liked.
Yeah.
My wife watched a lot of it uh, when she was pregnant, and after we had the Annabelle, like she started watching it more like in times that she was awake at 3 in the morning. So we didn't watch it at the same time, but I would catch some episodes here and there, and I really do. The Christmas stuff, the Christmas episodes are always fun for Doctor Who.
Hmm.
Um, but I always like this. I like this concept. It's just a cool looking thing. I do this podcast. I'm in my sound booth. This is where I record it from. I actually thought of painting the outside to look like a TARDIS. I thought about it. I'm not even a Doctor Who fan. It just looks.
Yeah, it does look cool. I'm not a big Doctor Who fan at all. I could probably count on one hand the amount of episodes I've seen. It just doesn't appeal to me. But that is one badass ship. I like that idea. And I love things that are bigger on the inside than they are on the outside. I'm a sucker for that.
Almost in a way, it's akin to, I guess, Bill and Ted. Really, I guess Bill and Ted was inspired by the TARDIS, right?
I never got that. That's a good,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, the phone booth that travels through time.
Yeah. That's what Doctor Who needs. Little Bill and Ted energy.
They
There
do.
we go. Yeah.
How awesome would that be if there was not like a crossover, but like if, you know, who's Alex Winter?
Yeah.
What if he did like a cameo on it? Kind of interesting.
Yeah. Poor
Because
Alex.
Keanu's not doing it.
No. Alex is probably waiting at the phone for a call. Yeah. From somebody.
We've talked to someone who was. Oh yeah, duh. We talked to the man who played Death in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that.
Yeah, we talked to Bill Sadler, and Bill Sadler did mention that he'd, in a heartbeat, do the another movie,
There you
and
go.
that they are working on it. So we'll see.
Needs Doctor Who in it, and it'll be perfect. All right, my number 3, and this is totally a nostalgia pick. Totally nostalgia. I'm going with the Gunstar from The Last Starfighter.
I feel like we're in it right now.
Yeah, we are. We're in the hangar right now. Dude, I loved this movie when I was a kid. I absolutely loved The Last Starfighter. I loved everything about it. Playing video games is actually like a test to show your worth. It's almost Arthurian. You play a video game and you get to be chosen. And
No, it's pretty cool.
yeah, I love it. I love the Gunstar. It may not be the best ship in the list, but it struck a chord with me, and it's got Death Blossom. Where it shoots lasers everywhere and blows up all the bad guys. Come on now.
It's not the best ship. It's the third best ship.
Third best ship all time.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen The Last Starfighter. Maybe we got to do an episode on it. Maybe we got to mark that down on the list.
Yeah,
Might be fun.
that'd be fun. Hey, Alex, answer my email.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's cool stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a cool image you picked for it. I love the moon in that shot too.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Very cool. Let's go to my number 2. And we talked about this last week, didn't we?
We did.
This is Bor Cube.
Wow.
And I get that the Death Star gets the credit for being kind of the bully on the block.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the Bor Cube. I'd rather have one of those.
Just to cruise around the neighborhood.
I would rather have a Borg cube than a Death Star. And I tell you, the Death Star has a very powerful weapon,
Yes.
but it's kind of easily destroyed.
Yeah. You put a banana in the tailpipe and it all falls apart.
That's it. Whereas the Borg cube, I mean, it regenerates, it adapts to weapon systems. It just tears up ships that attack it. It's really is. I won't say indestructible because again, we talked about First Contact, last week, and the Enterprise did destroy it.
Yeah.
But I think very highly of the Enterprise as a ship.
Yeah. No.
That said, I guess my number 5, the X-wing, destroyed the Death Star. So I guess, but just because it got destroyed doesn't impact my feelings of it. I think it's just really badass. I love that it is what it is. It's a cube, and it's made up of the collective, and that's how it's kind of like operated.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it totally represents the Borg, and it's terrifying. It's by design. It's a cube.
Right. Yeah. It is intimidating because it's not like anything we've ever seen in the Star Trek universe before. It's just so different.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any kind of ship characteristics to it or anything. Yeah, it really represents an alien kind of intelligence and thought process.
And almost, I'm not going to say like primitive, but it's almost like it's advanced primitive. You know,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
like we're so technologically advanced, we figured that a cube is the best ship design.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Sure,
Yeah.
why
Why
not?
not?
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
I
All
dig it.
right. My number two.
Hey, look at that.
I know it's going to be on everybody's list, and it's on mine.
Why not?
It's one of the most iconic, one of the most recognizable ships ever made. It's literally its own character in those movies, in the, especially the Kirk era movies. It had its own theme when we were looking at it for 2.5 hours in the motion picture when Kirk was floating around it. People cried when Kirk blew it up in Star Trek 3.
Mm,
It's really its own character. It's because
it
it's
is.
so beloved. Yeah.
I honestly, and it didn't make my list, the Millennium Falcon. I think between Enterprise and Millennium Falcon, those are the two most well-known
Right.
ships. You
I
know,
think so.
I think you hold those two up, everyone knows. And if you're comparing Star Wars versus Star Trek, I mean, those are the two ships to really compare. Um, I think the Enterprise kicks its ass.
You're not the only one.
I
You
know.
sent me a
I
link
sent you
today.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Who was it? Who said that?
Was that Neil deGrasse Tyson?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson said that the Enterprise would kick the Millennium Falcon's ass. Um, yeah, it's really cool, man. And the problem with the Enterprise that I have, and I think you did specify which version of the Enterprise, right?
Yes, this Kirk level,
Right.
Enterprise pre Star Trek 3 when they blew it up. Yeah.
Right. I think that's the problem with it is when they kept redesigning it, it got a little lamer over time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the one in First Contact.
Yeah.
I wanted them to blow that one up.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a fan of that one either, as I said last week. And the Enterprise B was just a Excelsior refit. C's not bad. I think
No.
C doesn't need to get a little more credit because it's not a
No.
bad looking ship. But yeah, I agree. This is the ship.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
it.
So it's pretty amazing. All right.
Yeah.
I guess we go to my number one. Now we're going to talk a lot more about this next week on our show. But I'm just going to say that I love the Discovery One from 2001. And the thing that I love so much about it is that it looks like it could be a real spaceship. You know,
Yeah.
you get lost in the details that Kubrick and his team put into it, that it seems like you're looking at a real spaceship in outer space. And it's quite brilliant. And it does have a computer that runs everything, and if it's having a bad day, you can't get the pod bay doors open.
Right.
Um, but really, just intricately designed. It looks like you can kind of see it almost looks like a spinal cord, if you will, like that the spinal column, like
Mhm.
right in the middle. Um, awesome,
Oh yeah.
it's really great.
It's one of the greatest ships ever. I agree with that. It's just so effing cool on the inside and the outside.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love everything about the Discovery.
Oh, I mean the inside. Yeah, again, we'll save some for next week when we're talking. I want to get to the nitty gritties
No, no.
of the cinematography for this movie and
Mhm.
just how fucking brilliant it is. But we'll save that for next week. That said, we're talking about spaceships. I had to include this one. I don't know many people that I won't say included in their lists of spaceships. They might overlook it or might think it's a little too simplistic. But it's the intricacies. It's almost like a fucking Death Star, like right at the head too. Like it kind of it kind of looks like that circle part is kind of like a mini Death Star.
It
Its
is.
own way.
When we're just talking spaceships, we always get caught up in speed or weapons and shields and all that. And Discovery has none of that, and that's why I think it gets overlooked so many times.
Yeah,
It's just a cool looking ship.
yeah, it's awesome. It's really awesome.
All right, my number one is totally just because I think it looks cool. I'm going with War Rocket Ajax from Flash Gordon. I freaking love these designs so much. I could have gone with the old Zarkov rocket from the old serial, but I went with this. I love it. I love these old designs of these rockets, and I thought the Flash Gordon remake, I guess, interpretation from 1980, just really did a good job with this.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it so much. I actually love that movie so much too.
it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Very, very good movie. Not to say that it's overlooked as well, but I think it needs a little bit more credit than it actually gets. It's a
Oh yeah, I think
fun
so.
film.
It's and this is a sexy design, man. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
it's
it looks like a
sexy.
penis.
Yeah. Notice I didn't pick the one from yeah, Flesh Gordon. No,
You didn't pick Flesh Gordon, no.
no.
Yeah, I remember watching Flesh Gordon for the first time. It was quite an experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flash Gordon, really cool. It's yeah, man. There's not much more you can say other than the fact that it's it's sleek in design and the color scheme, like just the little details that they add to it. I like the windows in the front.
Oh, absolutely. I think
And
that's what sells it. Just a
you
bay
know,
of windows on a
bay
rocket.
windows on a
Why
rock.
not? Why not?
It makes no sense. You want as little window space as possible because you don't want it to break open and die. But still, hey, hell with it. It looks cool. It
Right.
almost seems like a cruise ship or like a
You're right, though. It does. It
you
actually
know
has the deck for people to go out and stand.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It seems like there should be swimming pools and like movie theaters on it or something like that, and people are taking cruises around the galaxy. Um, cool stuff.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Well, that's it, man. That's my picks. That's your picks.
It was awesome. No, that was a fun time. I guess that'll be it, right? Close out another episode of the Movies and Stuff show.
Yep.
Be sure to just subscribe to us on YouTube. Like the video. That would be great.
Yeah.
Like us on Facebook. Find us on Twitter. We got some other cool stuff coming up with our email list. So kind of keep an eye out for that. We've been doing a mailing list. We just started it up the last couple of weeks, but we're thinking of doing some contests and doing some other cool stuff. That's all I can say right now. I don't want to commit.
He's sworn to secrecy.
I kind of am,
I know you are.
a little bit. But trust me, it's some cool stuff coming up. So, Abe, as usual, fun time. Final
Oh, yeah.
words.
Final words, man. We got to talk to Flash. We got to talk Flash Gordon sometime.
Put it on the list.
Ornella Muddy. I'm gonna email you soon.
Put it on the list. Later, man.
Bye.